If I owe you $5 and give you a $10 bill, you give me back $5. It's a simple concept. If I owe you $5 and give you 10, but you just turn your back on me and walk away, that's theft. That's illegal. Unless you are the government in about a dozen states, where if you owe $100 in property taxes, they can take your house, sell it, and keep all the proceeds. They keep what you owe them and everything else. On its face, it's fundamentally unfair. It's un-American. But as we said, it's perfectly legal to steal your home equity in these states, and it happens all the time. It happened to Geraldine Tyler. She moved out of her condo in Minneapolis because of the crime there. It got so bad, she moved into an apartment. Hard up for cash, she didn't have the money to pay her property taxes, a total of $2,300. The government added on $13,000 in penalties, fines, and interest, so a total debt of about $15,000. The county took her condo and sold it for $40,000. They did not give Miss Tyler back that money. They just pocketed the extra $25,000. Christina Martin represents Tyler in her case that now heads to the Supreme Court in April. You think about this, we hear about it, and we say, well, there has to be something we don't understand. Is it that simple the way I described it?
Yeah, it's really that simple. And it's not just happened to Miss Tyler, it's happened to many people across the country. We actually had a case where our client lost his entire house over $8. And the government just took all the equity. Fortunately, we won that one in the Michigan Supreme Court, and we're hoping to win this one in the United States Supreme Court and then end it once and for all.
Well, one can only hope that that happens. We had a graphic, something like $770 million worth of home equity has been stolen over this time. How has this gone on for so long? What did the states do to make this legal, and why, frankly, hasn't anybody gotten to the Supreme Court sooner?
Most people that this happens to can't afford to pay for an attorney because they can't afford to pay their property taxes. And it's often the elderly, it's often people who are sick and just unable to defend themselves. Fortunately, my organization, Pacific Legal Foundation, saw this issue, we got involved, and we found that over $777 million in equity was stolen over the course of just a few years. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's actually a lot more. We were only able to sample just a part of the total problem in the country.
Is there any way these people are? It just seems so wrong. I mean, you think about even the basic Bill of Rights issues. I mean, you can't take property. And if you do, you've got to pay for it. These states obviously knew what they were doing. Hopefully, they get their these people get their money back, or their heirs get their money back. But is there going to be any penalty to the states that did this?
Well, if we convince the Supreme Court that this is a taking without just compensation, then the government will have to pay for what it's taken plus interest. Alternatively, the court might decide it is an excessive fine, and so I think it's an open question what a court would find as the penalty there, but as the remedy there. But I'm very optimistic that either way we will put a stop to home equity theft, which really is ultimately what Ms. Tyler wants most. She's most concerned, like Pacific Legal Foundation, about how this impacts other people who, some people have been left homeless when they lose not just their home, but all their equity.
It's really tragic and fundamentally unfair that it happens. And we're all better, Christina, that we have somebody like you who's willing to fight for folks who really just aren't able to fight for themselves. Thank you, and keep us updated, all right?
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.